Hello, it's Teacher Rama here, and today we are going to learn about matrices. So by the end of this lesson, you should be able to define the term matrix. You should be able to differentiate a row from a column. And also, you should be able to give the order of a matrix. So let us define the term matrix. What is a matrix? So a matrix, this is a rectangular arrangement of elements. So a rectangular arrangement of elements. A matrix is a rectangular arrangement of elements, and it is normally written in rows and columns. So written in rows and columns. In rows and columns. Yeah, that is a matrix. Now let us define what a row is. What is a row? So a row is a horizontal arrangement of elements. Horizontal arrangement of elements. And what is a column? Column is a vertical arrangement of elements. So a row is a horizontal arrangement of elements, and a column is a vertical arrangement of elements. Now we are going to look at an example here. We see how rows and columns appear in matrices. So I'm going to write a matrix. So let us have 1, 3, 8, 6, 5, and 7. So we are going to count the number of rows and the number of columns in this matrix. So we can name this matrix A. So this is matrix A. So matrix A has how many rows and it has how many columns? Let us start with the number of rows. We say that rows are horizontal arrangement of elements. So which ones here are horizontal? We have 1, 8, and 5. That is horizontal. That means that is our row number 1. 3, 6, and 7 are also organized horizontally. So that means that's our row number 2. So we have this one being row 1, and this one being row 2. So the number of rows that we have here are 2. So we have 2 rows. What about columns? What is the number of columns here? So let us wrap this one for a moment. So which elements here are organized vertically? We say columns are vertical arrangement of elements. Which elements here have been organized vertically? Let us look at 1 and 3. 1 and 3 have been organized vertically. So that is our column number 1. 8 and 6 have been organized vertically. 5 and 7 have been organized vertically. So this way we have column number 1, column 2, and column 3. So we have 3 columns. The number of columns is 0. That is our first example. So let us look at another example. We count the number of rows and the number of columns. So this is our matrix B. Matrix B, we have 8 and 5. We have -1 and 6. So what is the number of rows in this column? And what is the number of columns? What is the number of rows in this matrix? And what is the number of columns in that matrix? So let us count the number of rows here. We said rows are horizontal arrangement of elements. So which ones have been arranged horizontally here? We have 8 and negative 1. That is our row number 1. We have 5 and 6. That's our row number 2. So we have 2 rows. We said columns are the elements that have been arranged vertically. So we have 8 and 5 as our first column, and we have negative 1 and 6 as the second column. So the number of columns here is 2. Now that you know how to count the number of columns and the number of rows in a matrix, we are going to look at how to find the order of a matrix. Let us look at how do we find the order of a matrix. What is it? What do we mean by order of a matrix, or how is the order of a matrix given? So the order of a matrix is given by writing the number of, so that is the number of rows multiplied by the number of columns. So is that to the number of rows multiplied by the number of columns. And we are going to start with an example. So we have a matrix. We're going to name it matrix A. Matrix A has the elements negative 1, 8, 4, 9, and 3, and 14. Those are the elements of matrix A. Let us count the number of rows. The number of rows in matrix A and the number of columns. So the number of rows, we said rows are horizontal arrangements. So we have, this one is the first row, we have the first row and the second row. So we have 2 rows. Columns, we say, are vertical arrangements. We have the first column, the second column, and the third column. So we have 3 columns. Now let us come to the order of the matrix, the order of matrix A. So the order will be the number of rows, that is 2, multiplied by the number of columns. And we just leave it that way. You don't multiply this, you just give it this way. And that is the order of matrix A. Let us look at this chart here for more examples. So this chart here is showing more about rows and columns. So this is the first table is showing how many number of rows. For example, A, H, and B forms row number 1. I, C, and G forms row number 2. E, F, and D forms row number 3. And we have column 1, this one, that's A, I, and E, column 2, and column 3. So written as a matrix, we have row 1, row 2, and row 3. Columns, we have column 1, column 2, and column 3. So we have 3 rows and 3 columns in this matrix. The order of a matrix. Let us look at the matrix number 1. Example here, example 1. We have a matrix with 1 element. So the number of rows is 1, and the number of columns is 1. So the order of this matrix will be 1 by 1 matrix. So it's a 1 by 1 matrix. Example number 2. We have elements 0 and 1, 4 and 2, and elements 2 and 6. The number of rows here are, let us count, 1, 2, and 3. We have 3 rows. What about the number of columns? We have 1 and 2. So we only have 2 columns. The order of the matrix will be the number of rows multiplied by the number of columns. So it will be 3 by 2. We have the order of the matrix. Example number 3. We have how many rows? That is 1 and 2. We have 2 rows. Columns, we have 1, 2, and 3. We have 2 rows and 3 columns. The number of rows is 2 multiplied by the number of columns is 3. That is the order of this matrix. Example number 4. We have 3 rows, that is 1, 2, and 3, but we only have 1 column. So the order of this matrix will be 3 times 1. And example number 5, the number of rows that we have here is 1. So that is 1 row. And the number of columns is 1, 2, and 3. So the order of this matrix will be 1 times 3. And that is the end of our lesson on matrices. The next lesson we'll see on how to work calculations on matrices. That's addition and subtraction of matrices. So kindly follow and subscribe and like and share.